Right now, there's this incredible high-stakes race happening. It's not for land, not for resources, but for the future of intelligence itself. And it's being bankrolled with amounts of money that are honestly hard to even wrap your head around. So yeah, let's get into it.
Just think about that for a second. We are watching a fundamental shift happen in real time. The world's most powerful companies are in an all-out sprint to build the smartest AI, and believe me, the outcome is going to shape all of our lives.
And calling it an arms race isn't really an exaggeration. It's just that this one is fought with, well, billions and billions of dollars and endless lines of code, not bullets and bombs.
You've got all the big names, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and they are locked in this fierce battle to just outspend and outbuild each other. The goal here is simple, really. Whoever leads this next tech revolution basically leads the world.
All right, so let's get into the specifics. Who are the main players here, and just how much cash are we really talking about? Get ready, because some of these numbers are just mind-blowing.
First up, you've got this powerhouse partnership that I'm sure you've heard of, Microsoft and OpenAI. And look, Microsoft isn't just a partner. They are OpenAI's biggest backer, by far. They're pretty much the fuel in OpenAI's rocket ship.
Okay, so here's the first number to try and get your head around. Microsoft has poured in at least $22.4 billion into AI. That number includes a staggering $13 billion just for its partnership with OpenAI, not to mention all the money they're spending on their own infrastructure around the globe.
But of course, you absolutely cannot have this conversation without talking about Google. I mean, they've been a leader in AI for years. They've already spent tens of billions. But what they're planning to spend next, it kind of makes that look like pocket change.
Yeah, you are seeing that right. Over $100 billion. That's the number Google's CEO threw out there for their next generation of AI. He's calling it a once-in-a-generation opportunity, and with that kind of price tag, you can see why.
And then you've got Meta, the company that runs Facebook and Instagram. They're jumping in with an equally massive, but kind of different strategy. They're pouring cash into building the actual physical stuff, the data centers, the custom computer chips, all the hardware you need to power AI for literally billions of people.
And get this, for 2024 alone, Meta is planning to spend somewhere between $35 and $40 billion. And most of that is going straight to AI. They are literally building the foundation for their AI future from the ground up.
So, let's just take a breath and look at this. When you see it laid out like this, it's pretty wild. You have Google's potential $100 billion plus investment just towering over everyone. And then you realize that Meta's $40 billion is for 1 year. Even Microsoft's huge $22 plus billion commitment looks smaller in comparison. The scale here is it's absolutely insane.
Okay, but it's not just about who can throw the most money at the wall, right? It's about playing chess, not checkers. It's about strategy. It's how they're spending this money to get ahead.
And you can see here, everyone's got a different playbook. Microsoft, they've gone all in on that OpenAI partnership, a super smart move to gain ground fast. Google, on the other hand, is leaning on its decades of in-house research. Amazon's making these clever strategic investments. And hey, you've even got new players like Elon Musk's xAI jumping into the ring. Let's look at Amazon's play with the AI startup Anthropic. This is a perfect example of a clever, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of deal. Amazon puts in $4 billion, and in return, Anthropic, a major rival to OpenAI, by the way, agrees to use Amazon's AWS cloud platform. So Amazon gets a piece of a hot startup and a huge new customer. It's a total win-win.
And speaking of rivals, you can't talk about this without mentioning the whole saga between Elon Musk and OpenAI. It's kind of wild. He helped start the company back in 2015 as a nonprofit, but then he left because he didn't like its shift towards a for-profit model. And now, he's come full circle, raising $6 billion for his own AI company, xAI, to go head-to-head with the very thing he helped create.
This quote from Mark Zuckerberg pretty much sums up the mindset of every single one of these CEOs. He's basically saying, what we've spent so far is just the beginning. We need to invest way, way more. So the big takeaway here is that this spending, it's not slowing down. It's actually just getting started.
So that brings us to the big question, right? What is the ultimate prize here? What are they all chasing that could possibly justify spending hundreds of billions of dollars? Well, for some of them, especially a company like OpenAI, the ultimate goal, the holy grail, is something called Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI.
Basically, think of an AI that can learn and do any mental task a human can. If someone actually achieves that, it would be a world-changing event, on the same level as, I don't know, discovering electricity.
But you know, there's also a much more immediate commercial prize, a huge one. Just look at this prediction for Apple. Analysts think that just putting smarter AI into the next iPhone could kick off a once-in-a-decade wave of people buying new phones. That means billions, maybe trillions in revenue. It's simple. If you win the AI race, you win the markets of the future.
Okay, so this corporate chess match is fascinating and all, but why should you care? What does all this actually mean for you and me in our day-to-day lives? Well, the stuff that's going to come out of this race could be incredible. We're talking about things like personalized medicine that spots diseases way earlier than we can now, self-driving cars that are actually safe, virtual assistants on your phone that are actually helpful, not frustrating, and think about being able to talk to anyone in the world with perfect, real-time translation. This isn't sci-fi anymore. This stuff is right around the corner.
And that really brings us to the most important point of all of this. Our future, the way we live, the way we work, everything is being built right now, as we speak. And the blueprints for that future? They're being funded and designed by just a handful of the most powerful companies on the planet.
So I guess I'll just leave you with this one thought. As this AI race gets faster and faster, and with just a few giant companies in the driver's seat, who else gets a say in what our future is going to look like?